Hey everyone, it's the host of All Across America, Marco Vig, jumping in for a few seconds before the show to thank y'all for listening, to let you know that I want to hear from you. Tell me what you like about the show, and send me your suggestions too. Follow us on Instagram at AllXAmerica, or visit the website, allacrossamerica.net, and you can use our contact page there. If you want to support us, we're on Patreon at patreon.com/allacrossamerica. Try to respond personally to everyone who reaches out, so say hello. All right, on with the show. Podcasting from Portland East to Portland West, from Big Pine Key to Pacific Beach, and from San Juan to Guam, this is All Across America.
Whatever level, it's a beautiful thing, and I'm appreciative of being.
Oh yeah, well we're happy to have you, and I'm
trying to remember who you look like. I know from the past, man.
I get all sorts. But
anyway, go ahead.
So I was thinking, you're a harmonica player, you're a singer-songwriter, but I wanted to find out how you got started playing the harmonica. But by way of asking, what was your first instrument? Because my guess is it may not have been the harmonica.
My first instrument is actually, I'm still drawn to a Latin percussion.
Oh wow, okay.
Congas and bongos.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and I was into, before, I didn't even know I was a musician.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't, this is something that happened because it
Really?
was the power of however it happens in life, somebody's direction, like it was just talking about passion.
Yeah.
And the pursuit of passion at all costs.
Okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
So anyway, question was?
First instrument, bongos.
Oh, yeah, right on. The bongos, yeah, I was into them, man. I had a cheap pair.
Yeah.
And then my girlfriend got me a nice pair of Latin percussion.
Okay.
And I was just into practicing. I was playing Santana and that band Chicago. And always anybody had some percussion in the background.
Right.
Then I heard Tito Puente.
Okay.
The real version of Oye Como Va, playing timbales. And I said, wow. And I was always attracted. Then I went into hearing a lot of Cuban music.
Okay.
But I'm a blues musician. I'm a blues man, and that's what I played first.
How did you make that transition between the Latin music to blues?
Well, it just happened when I was 18.
Okay.
My mother gave me on my 18th birthday a harmonica.
Oh, all right.
And I didn't think anything of it.
Yeah.
And I started doodling around on it. And after about a year, I was I didn't know anything about blues. Nobody taught me about blues. And this guy picked me up hitchhiking in his Volkswagen. He was a very deep individual.
Where were you hitchhiking from?
North Salem, New York, back to Katona. Actually, from Katona back to North Salem.
So short trip, a few miles.
Well, hitchhiking, that was a long journey. 12-miler or something.
Yeah, 12 miles.
But anyway, we had the walk we did back when we were kids. But a long story short, I was coming back. I got picked up by a guy, and he goes, "Oh, you playing harmonica?" Because I happened to have it in my hand or something while I was waiting on this hitchhiking.
Right.
And blah, 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 blah. He said, "Oh, you must know about the blues." I was like, "No." He goes, "Oh, yeah, Muddy Waters, the blues." And
Right.
And then I said, "Oh, okay." And he let me out in this little Volkswagen Beetle.
Yeah.
And I went home and asked my mother, who was, gave me a harmonica and knows a lot about art, music, and what have you. I said, "Mom, what is the blues?" And she goes, "That's the music."
Right.
I said, "Oh, okay." And I didn't think it made no correlation between that and the harmonica. I just went about my business, practicing and getting into the harmonica.
Yeah.
And then, so this is how I got into the harmonica. To answer the question around about Wayne is that my friend had me over and we listened to this record. It just came out. It's called Muddy Waters, was the artist.
Yeah.
Hard Again.
Oh, of course, yes.
Produced by Johnny Winter.
Yeah, that was a London.
No,
recorded.
that wasn't a London session. This is produced by Johnny Winter.
No, I do remember.
In America, it's called Muddy Waters, Hard Again.
Yep.
Anyway, with a lot of heavyweight people on there, but the one influence, and when I heard this sound, it was James Cotton on my friend's record player at my friend's house on his brother's record, Muddy Waters Hard Again.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, that's the sound I have. This harmonica makes that. So I said, "Can I borrow this record?" To my friend, he goes, "Yeah." He never got the record back. His brother never got the record back.
Well.
So here's the story. That's how I got it. And I started practicing at that point, getting into it.
What? That album came out 72, 73, somewhere around there? Hard Again?
I discovered this record in about '77, I think it
Okay.
came out, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Right
Okay.
after I graduated high school.
Okay.
Well, maybe around 70, I guess 76, let's say. Somewhere, I don't know
Yeah.
when it came out, but I discovered it very shortly after it came out.
Wow.
So anyway,
So, I mean, were you always a musician? What were you doing, and what brought you
I'm
to?
a person that was not, gonna be a professional musician at any time until when I really decided that's what I want to do after
Yeah.
much encouragement. So I was in the local area here, Westchester,
Right.
I went to college to be a chef, and after a little while being a chef, I decided I don't want to be a chef, and that's when I said I better learn a trade, and I went to tree work. I worked as a tree man and an arborist for like 7 years
Okay. Yeah.
in the area here.
Yeah.
And then I went after that, I got tired and very sick and tired of being a tree man. And I went into doing my namesake masonry work. I somehow
wow.
fell into being a stonemason. And
Gotcha.
here in the area,
All right.
I ran a pretty decent business, stonemasonry company.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay.
not a big shot business, just making steady
Yeah.
money and
Yeah.
as
One
a
of my
mason.
one of my first guests on the program was Susie Allport, and she wrote the Stone Walls of
Oh,
New
yes,
York
I
and
saw
New
that
England.
on your
Yeah.
site, on
So
our website.
I've done a lot of masonry work myself.
my
so
If you know, do you know Clock Tower Commons? You know where that is?
yeah, yes,
I
I
built
do.
that wall out in front of Clock Tower Commons
Wow.
about 34
Wow.
years ago.
I mean,
It needed some repair
Yeah.
around the pillars,
right.
and there was a problem with the blueprint on the pillars, but I
Oh.
figured it out with the engineer. Anyway, long story short is I was a mason, a tree man, and a chef,
Yeah.
not in that order, and then all that while playing the harmonica
Wow.
and getting into it and practicing.
Yeah. Okay.
Since the discovery of that sound, I began studying the hell out of the harmonica.
Okay.
And that was my focus, not like I'm going to be a pro. I just, over the years, that's what the Lord, if I'm bringing religion into it, is the Lord directed me
Okay.
to be a blues musician.
Wow.
And the course of events in my life circumstances led to being what I call as a real valid blues musician. Somebody
Right.
that went through a whole lot of, excuse my French, a whole lot of shit, and was able to be resilient and get through it and continue in this pursuit. So I didn't know that until I was 35 when I left this area. I was
Okay.
35 working
Right.
as a mason,
Yeah.
and I decided that if I don't get out of here, Catona, Mayapack, Mount Kisco, North Salem, I will be 50 years old in this town area, wondering what if I tried.
That's right. That's right.
So I took that 35-year-old mindset, and most people are dug in at that age. And I
Right.
went to Manhattan, and it was tough. I slept in my car, slept
Yeah.
at a crackhead's house, literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slept on a crackhead's floor,
Right.
slept on an alcoholic person's floor. Got myself a little place in the city, 333 Park Avenue South,
Okay.
and that's begun my career with techno producer Matty Silver.
Okay.
What a strange juxtaposition. The guy who was a promoter of the techno act, the Chemical Brothers,
Right,
DJ
right.
Spooky.
Yeah.
This guy took faith in me and gave
wow.
me a cool little room, and
Nice.
I set off to work in Manhattan since then. So
Excellent. And you lived in Amsterdam. You said you spent some time in Brazil. I mean, you've toured
Yeah.
all over the world.
well, I didn't spend time in Brazil other than going over there and playing,
Yeah.
for a couple weeks, a couple
Yeah.
times. But
Yeah.
I did live in the Netherlands. I lived in Amsterdam, Holland for 2 years.
Okay.
And I played all over Europe.
Yeah.
Played throughout France and Italy and Germany and Switzerland and
Okay.
many places in Europe. And
Yeah.
I played every city in France, and
Okay.
and I
Right.
played in Paris so many times I
Yeah.
can't count. But
Yeah.
blah blah blah. Yeah, I lived in the Netherlands. I lived in Amsterdam, and I didn't just party. It was an art city as well.
Right.
As
Of
a,
course,
a
of
real
course.
hub for the arts.
I mean, so many jazz musicians of the 50s and 60s relocated, particularly, as you know, to France and found their, greater appreciation amongst that French audience. Would you say it's the same for the blues?
Oh yeah, very much so. More so, and even today, these days, I know so many American friends of mine live in Europe, making
Okay.
living predominantly in blues genre.
Wow.
You couldn't do it the way you do it over here. You
Yeah.
could go stay in some motor inn, what they call Motel 6, and get
Right.
over there. In my experiences, it's a wonderful time.
Yeah.
Most every time, no matter what, but you could be sleeping in a five-star hotel one night, and the next night be sleeping on the French family's couch. But all the
Oh, wow.
way, giving
Okay.
thanks for it.
Yeah. I'm thinking of, I was going through and prep for this show thinking about my travels and, seeing the blues. And I don't really play the blues so much. But the theme song to the show, Sylvester Reaver, Guitar Rag.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so I played that on guitar. So
Well, that's you good.
Yeah.
Nice tone.
Thank you, sir.
Tone
Yeah,
is
flat.
everything.
Yeah, it's you can as radio you can play whatever songs because you're licensed, you're paying some sort of licensing fees, as I understand. Podcast, you're not allowed to play music.
Oh.
So, but Sylvester Reaver Guitar Rag, first blues instrumental came out in 1927, so it's beyond copyright.
Huh.
So, we
That
can all pay
became that.
homage to Sylvester Weaver. And but I got you on the show, and so you can give personal permission. We can
Yep.
play some of your songs. Love to hear you on harmonica.
Well, I'll just play a little right now, and that
Hey.
way people can hear a little bit of what I do.
Yeah, let's jump into it. And
I'm a singer and a songwriter. I recorded it at the invitation of the legendary, the Wicked. Wilson Pickett invited me to play on this
okay.
latest record before he died, and
Oh, wow.
Wilson Pickett also called me his singing buddy. When I walked in the door after playing a session with Wilson Pickett, he didn't extend his hand and say, "There's my harmonica buddy." Wilson Pickett said, "There's my singing buddy." So
Nice.
I'm gonna just play a little blues harmonica.
Yeah, please. We got plenty
with
of time here.
singing in mind. They can check me out on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll get all
It's
that.
first thing in the day here. I don't get the wrong impression. There you go.
All right.
This is the 10-hole diatonic. That's a blues style.
10-hole diatonic. That's nice. That's nice.
And they also play the chromatic. And I've been playing the diatonic now since I was 18 and I'm 65, so that's, do the math, 47 years. And this I discovered when I went to South Africa in 1996, New York City Blues Review.
Okay.
And I said, to be really astute harmonica player,
Yeah.
you have to know the chromatic. You can
Okay.
play this. It's a wonderful thing. I love it. It's my home.
So describe
This
the
difference
difference
is
for folks.
like this is the type of instrument that Stevie Wonder plays. So I
Okay.
don't really play it, except on Reggae Woman,
Right.
where he plays a straight position harmonica in A flat. For anybody who wants to know. But anyway, long story
Right.
short, is the difference is this chromatic has a button, so it's like you have the black keys on the piano. You're
Okay.
able to do these sharps and flats.
Oh, I see. All right.
So when you push that little button, then you get that ability to go up sharps and flats. So that's a little overview of the acoustic style. Now I'm an
Okay.
electric player, so I
Right.
play through a microphone and
Okay.
amplifier, and that's a whole other science, the electric blues
Okay.
approach and mic technique and such.
So you have a monitor when you're playing the electric approach?
Depending upon the scenario and
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah.
In a concert, festival, or large club.
Yeah.
Most clubs you have a monitor,
Right,
but
okay.
there's small venues you don't
Sure.
need a monitor, you don't have it. But yeah, monitors mostly always present in a venue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are other musicians jealous of you as a harmonica player? I mean, here they are, like you're an upright bass player. You got the big, bass on the subway,
Well,
carrying it
I
around.
wouldn't, I wouldn't describe it as such because a harmonica player is done. When the person's playing electrically, he's bringing an amplifier.
True. Fair
And this
enough.
is like,
Yeah.
hauling a big super reverb or something, which have an old
Okay.
bassman,
All right.
which weighs, like 45, 50 pounds.
Okay.
And making sure that it gets in
Yeah.
the club. And
Right.
making sure it's like a baby. But yeah, no, I don't know about, portability maybe, but,
Yeah.
I don't know about jealous. But all this fucking guy's got to do is come up and plug in.
Yeah.
Which is like a James Cotton style, my initial
Okay.
formative influence, James Cotton. He could just go up and plug into the PA just like this sign has.
Right.
Like I just did now, hopefully, and got, a James Cotton tone. This is James Cotton.
All right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Anyway, that's a James Cotton style, so it was my first influence.
Okay. All right.
Let me just briefly tell you, because I started.
Yeah, let's hear it.
about how, I started with that record. I found that record that gave me this. I was like electric shock. Like, what is this?
Okay.
So I took that record home, and I only
Yeah.
had one harmonica in the key of C at that time. And I
Okay.
didn't know about different keys. I didn't know anything. I just
Right.
knew that there's a couple songs on that record that I could get a couple notes with.
Okay.
And I started practicing these songs. And then my friend said, "Oh, man, you got to get different keys. And that's
Yeah.
why this song's in this key." And I was like, "Oh."
All
So I
right.
got a couple different keys, got
Right.
the money up, and started to get these different sounds that I'm hearing
Yeah.
this guy James Cotton do.
Okay.
So this is back in the day when you got to put the needle back on the record.
Right.
So
right.
you have to really be determined
Yeah. Over and over.
and
and
patient that you're
Right.
going to get this sound, because nobody's just
Okay.
going to say what and then just say,
Right.
"Oh, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm going to get this. I'm going to put this needle back once."
Right.
It involves thousands, literally thousands of times, just to maybe get one nuance of tone.
That's true. Yeah.
So in my experience,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
I went on and on practicing this electric bluesman, Chicago bluesman legend.
Okay.
Played with Muddy Waters and other people,
Sure.
as well as did the James Cotton Blues Band. I started practicing the hell out of this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm getting this sound. I'm learning as another James
Yeah.
Cotton record. I'm playing this James Cotton. Then I discovered the Jay Giles Band and Magic Dick and a Licking Stick.
Okay.
If that's what they call them. And I was practicing this Jay Giles Band, James Cotton. So a few years went by, a couple years.
Yeah.
And a guy said to me one day, "Hey, man, you realize you're playing upside down, backwards, where the low notes are on the right?" I said, "No, I didn't know." He goes, "Yeah, turn over that harmonica. That's why there's numbers on this side.
Okay.
So you go to a book and learn this up and down." And
Okay.
I was like, "I don't know, man." The style was already formed from listening to James Cotton. So I'll
Right.
give you a brief overview. Years went by. I did a lot of shows all around the world. Things
Yeah.
happened. I have 3 records out on the French record label.
Okay.
I lived in Europe. On the success of the French record label, I was living in Manhattan. I was a Manhattan blues man through the 90s, and I
Right.
was playing harmonica by then.
Yeah.
I'd done a lot of things. So I wanted to open up for the 2 people that were my influences.
Okay.
James Cotton,
Okay.
and later on Magic Dick and Jay Giles
All
at the Chicago Blues Bar. So when I'm leading this up to James Cotton is I went from practicing, put the needle back a million times to this guy. So much that I learned upside down backwards. That's how determined I was to learn the instrument.
Right.
And here I was, probably literally 20 years later, more. 25 years later. Yeah. Sitting with the guy in the band room downstairs.
Wow.
Smoked 20 joints of weed with this guy, literally. And I said, "Man, you're an influence to me, man, to keep playing the harmonica and keep smoking weed." And James Cotton says, "Well, roll another one." So that's James Cotton. And when he died, man, that was about 6-7 years ago now.
Okay.
I hardly ever break when some shit happens, excuse my French. But that was it. When I heard it, James Cotton died, I broke down, man. I just wailed like a baby, like it was a death in a family. So that's
Wow.
the James Cotton story, my number one influence. Somehow I went off on a tangent, but it was a good one.
And you said you got a chance to play with him when he came into NYC, or?
Yeah, in New York, I was his opening act.
Oh, wow.
I was the
Okay.
opening band for James Cotton. So when,
Wow.
and I got some great players I played with in Manhattan.
Yeah, we got this record here. We
Oh yeah,
traded.
this was
this was Bill Dicey on
You
here.
know, I've just recently, the irony is, my friend is a physician in New York City. He's 83.
Yeah.
And I just saw this record for the first time a few weeks ago.
Okay. And this is
And
Blues from the Apple.
Yeah, and this, you know, I don't really know anybody here on this record other than my number one live influence was Bill Dicey.
I just listened to this before we got here, and that first tune, I mean, he sounds like there's 3 people playing harmonica.
Yeah, so when I went from practicing the record,
right,
and I found the Village Voice.
Okay.
It was this little postage stamp size, you know, this newspaper used to come out and you know, advertise at clubs and venues in New York, and it was a little postage stamp size ad, and the Village Voice said, Sunday Blues Jams, Dan Lynch Blues Bar, 14th Street and 2nd Avenue. And I said, oh, shit, I'm going down there.
Okay.
And one Sunday I went down there, and I go from hearing this guy, James Cotton, practicing the record, hearing this guy, Bill Dicey, playing what I hear on the record right in front of me. I still get goosebumps right now thinking about it, man. The first time I was like, holy hell, man, this freaking guy's playing that shit right in front of me, man. Oh, my God. And so thereby, every Sunday for 15 years, I would drive from Katona, Westchester, wherever it was, North Salem, to the city, to that jam. And girlfriends would come and go and get pissed off. And someone want to come. Right. And I'm going to this blues jam. I might play, I might not. Yeah. Anyway, so this guy, Bill Dicey, over the years, at first, you know, it's a heavy-duty blues scene. It's not like, oh, we're going to play some blues. Right. This is real blues players, and it's a tough-ass scene. It smells like calf piss, and you might, you know, it's just, if you're a real musician in time, you will get the respect there, you know, but you'll get the hook like the Apollo Theater. If you couldn't get it, you're getting off that stage quick. So anyway, Bill Dicey, over the years, took a liking to, went from a jammer, asking him, do you give lessons? He said, no, I don't give lessons, but I can help you out with any of the positions, meaning, you know, different positions on harmonica. I said, I don't know, man. And years went by. One day he heard me playing, and he goes, wow, man, you really got a great tone. I got the feeling I want you to sit in tonight, meaning play with his band. I almost got sick because I felt like, you know, not in a bad way. And it's like, oh, I can't fucking believe this heavyweight cat. So anyway, you got a freaking rain coming in now.
We'll see. I'm gonna put that record away, but I think we'll be all right. I got a towel. We're good.
That's right. I should have brought my large umbrella. So anyway, pose the questions, and that way, if I go off on too much of a, well, like this.
Oh no,
I'm a talkative.
We got time. So hey,
I'm a talkative person.
We got time. So you used to play a lot at Manny's Car Wash.
I used to. Yeah. This place is long closed. Manny's Car Wash now, ironically, at the latest incarnation, was a Popeye's fried chicken.
Really? Okay.
What a irony that the blues bar, the most prestigious blues bar in the city, Manny's Car Wash, turned Popeye's fried chicken. Manny's Car Wash was there used to be a lot of blues clubs in the city to play. In the 90s, I made a living just playing around all these little places in Manhattan. Okay. All sorts of places. But Chicago Blues, 14th Street and 7th Avenue, 8th Avenue rather, 14th and 8th, Chicago Blues, Manny's Car Wash, 87th, between 87th and 88th on 3rd Avenue is the most prestigious upscale place. But Chicago Blues had all these national acts too. Okay. But the formative place that, still was through it all was what come up out of the Dan Lynch Blues Bar was the real Rustico.
Okay. Dan Lynch Blues Bar.
Tough freaking place where, if you had the shit you could be, respected. Right. And so over the years I got up there. Eventually Bill Dicey had invited me to sit in, and it just opened all these doors for me. All these people were getting respect because, this is a prestigious guy. And then suddenly he's calling me up, hey, come play here, come play there, come open the Washington D.C. Blues Festival, all these things he asked me to do. So anyway, that's Bill Dicey on that record.
That's great. All right.
Formative influence.
And tell me about the...
Let me just go off, just one more tangent about Bill Dicey he was the one that told me, you should really be a professional musician. Wow, okay. And he told me this in the 80s, and I've been all sorts of occupations since then, but this cat said it, He really meant it. He loved the tone. Like I
Yeah.
told you, complimented your slide guitar. You know,
Right.
tones, everything.
Yeah, sure is.
It's not about how many doodles you can do.
I mean, that's so true. I
You know, so
mean,
can you get down to some tone,
that's it.
man?
You have so many of these. So you're in the '90s and NYC and the city, playing all over. And then what brought you to Amsterdam? You were there, what, early 2000s?
Just the opportunity to play music.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I was on a French label where I was produced by this New York City blues rocker, Papa Chubby,
Okay.
a.k.a.
Papa Chubby.
Ted Horowitz.
Okay.
Yeah, so Ted produced 3 records for me, opened a lot of doors for me in Europe.
Yep.
And so thereby I was doing a lot over there. I was making good money. And I always liked Amsterdam because I visited it in '96 when I was playing in Italy. I was in Italy for 5 weeks in 1996 and was brought over by an Italian sculptor to play a bunch of shows.
Right.
And so I went up to Amsterdam. I was like, wow, this city's beautiful. It's an art city. It's a party city. It's a good thing. You can play anywhere
And
in
you
Europe.
can ride your bike anywhere.
Bicycle. I'm a bicyclist in Manhattan many years.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short is I decided to move there, and I happened to be playing a show in Amsterdam at this bar, Bourbon Street.
Okay.
And I met this guy who's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And he goes, I do real estate and I do home renovation in Amsterdam. Right. So he goes, when you're ready to move over, let me know. Get in touch with me. I'll probably get an apartment for you.
Oh, wow.
So like half a year went by. And I said, hey, look, I'm going to give this a try. So
wow.
I had to break up with my girlfriend. It was tough, man.
Yeah.
It was a bitch, you know. It's like, but I had to do it for myself, man. Anyway, I did that. And I had been doing it for my music. Anyway, long story short is I moved over there. I successfully stayed there 2 years. And then I got this calling in my gut to get out of there and hopefully make another record for another label. So that's what I did. My intention was come back to the States. And I did in 2004.
Okay.
I lived in Amsterdam from 2002 to 2004. And came back in and a couple of years after I made this record, you guys liked it. Lou, who introduced me to you.
Yes, Sofa King.
Yeah, he that record went to number 6, the Sofa King Badass on Northern Blues record as Northern Blues record label, as opposed to my other 3 releases, which were
French
on the
label.
Dixie Frog record label.
Okay.
Northern Blues is now defunct, but Dixie Frog is still
around,
up and doing big things. And I hope when I finish this work I'm working on, I have 3 songs finished towards finishing a 10-song original record. I hope that I can approach them. They've expressed interest. They like my music. I was successful for that label in the past, even though it was 20 years ago.
Okay.
My music is still very much being played in Europe.
That's great.
Just recently received a member of BMI, Broadcast Music International. I still have a lot of airplay in Europe from through Switzerland, Sweden, Germany.
Wow.
I made a lot of dough in Germany. Not a lot, you know, but
you're still getting residuals.
Yeah, I just got a check 3 weeks ago. Every quarterly, you know, whatever it is. So, you know, in the hopes that I can continue. This is what I do.
So tell us about you got 3 new songs out.
Okay,
I wanted to hear more about I Will.
How are we doing this? Oh yeah, okay. So, all right. So prefacing in this by saying, we'll back up a little bit. So with these 3 records out on the French record label and the other record on the Northern Blues record label, which came out 15 years ago.
Okay.
It still gets airplay, still making residual from. And the French records came out over 20 years ago or more now.
Wow. Okay.
So it's still getting a lot of airplay, particularly the song I wrote called "Going Back to Amsterdam."
Ah, okay.
And that's preface name is Reefer Smoking Man. That's
okay.
I'm going back to Amsterdam because I'm a reefer smoking man.
Yeah.
And that's back when weed was illegal all over the place, and I wrote this song. So, with that said, I love to write songs, so I wrote a bunch of new songs lately, and I've always been wanting for the last couple of years to record them. So a couple of years ago, I worked with an artist in Manhattan.
Okay.
And I made a great commission. And on that great commission, I put $15,000 into recording.
Wow.
Four new songs.
Oh, wow.
Now, a lot of people are like, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that. No, I could have done it the way I did it.
Yeah, good for you.
And I'm self-producing. I just have to mix these songs. So when you're asking about the song Your Will, It's one of 3 songs that
Okay.
I've recently recorded 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
Actually, one I'm still working on here now.
Okay.
With the requirement to finish the record is going to cost me about the exact same amount,
Okay.
15,000. In which case, I hire the musicians
Right.
I want to work with. I work in the studio I want to work with.
Right.
I pay everybody what I want to pay them.
Yeah.
I feed everybody what I want to feed
Right.
them. It's not like, oh, you can do self-produce. I would do it in Joe's studio in this
Yeah.
garage. No,
Yeah.
man.
Where'd you record it?
I recorded in Long Island City at an old friend of mine's place.
Okay.
Glen Forest. But my next part of this record I'm going to do in L.A. with a great drummer engineer friend of mine,
Okay.
Andrew Hymas, with
Okay.
musicians I put together.
Great.
So, long story short is I'm looking for an investor, and I have a proposal,
Okay.
a return on investment and
Sure.
profit on investment
Okay.
in continuum
Great.
through airplay, live performances and such.
Okay.
Until you're paid back your initial investment of 15,000, and then you're going to make money off of that. And
Yeah.
I'm still making money on my last releases, so
That's great.
I'm pretty confident I can
Yeah.
immediately pay you back
All right.
upon signing. So, to a record label, that is. So, anybody listening, get in touch with Mark. Get in touch with me via social media regarding that. So, what I'm trying to do now, I'm moving forward, is finishing this record.
Okay.
But right now, I have 3 songs completed.
Yep.
I have one I have to re-sing and redo the guitar on, which is in a holding box
Okay.
for now.
Yeah.
I'm going to fix that at the same studio we recorded this in Long
Okay.
Island City, G. Bluey's Studios. G. Blewett. Anyway, long story short is the next one's going to be recorded in L.A. at
Okay.
the Compound Studios in East L.A.
Okay.
And so I move forward saying that these songs recorded, everybody likes a different song of these 3
Yeah.
I recorded. I have a song called Your Will, the one that you like very much.
Yeah, that was
And
mine.
my very closest friend likes this song as well. Very much. But I have all these other songs, and everybody's attracted to a different song. I have the song Tina,
Right.
and I have this other song, Deathbed. It's a play on words, getting up out of my deathbed, D-E-B-T versus D-E-A-T-H.
Yeah. Yeah.
Getting up
Right.
from my deathbed.
I like that.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so if you listen to that.
And so you.
So the song Your Will is a gospel song, and that's
Right.
one
Okay.
other song, Tina. It's about a local girl that's all tattooed up as a working mom.
Okay.
And she runs the deli here in Mount Kisco
Oh, wow.
area. And
Okay.
she's a little rocker, and she runs an all-girl band. So that song I wrote about her. And then
Okay.
the other song is Deathbed. It's about getting out of your deathbed
Right.
and taking no more credit cards or loans. So
Yeah.
go it all on my
Yeah.
own. So getting up out of my deathbed. And the other song is the song in question that you like. So we're
Will.
going to play it here as when you want is Your Will. That's a song of faith in God and
Okay.
whatever you want, God. So we'll have another gospel song on this record
Nice.
I've written called Resting It in Your Hands, Resting in Your Hands. But this is Your Will.
Time been tough, time been hard, time so painful. Oh my God! In all these tests that I go through, I put my faith and trust in you. If it's your will, Lord, I'll do it. If it's your will, Lord, I'll do it. If it's your will, I'll do it. 'Cause I know you're gonna carry me through it. If it's your will, Lord, I'll do
How did I get into writing my own songs? Well, initially I moved to Manhattan at 35 with a bunch of cover songs. I didn't
Okay.
have anything. I didn't even have a cassette. So And I wasn't a singer. I just
Yeah.
sung a bathtub singer, but I know a friend of mine who was a really good musician said,
Right.
you can really sing if you put your mind to
Okay.
it. A girl
Yeah.
I know, a lady I know. So she actually thought I could really sing opera. I'm not kidding, man. I
All
was
right.
going off on. Well, this is when I was, probably 18. She's like,
Yeah.
shit, you got to learn how to sing. So I never put him anyway. When I was 35, I'm going to move into Manhattan. I'm going to sing.
Yeah.
And I just had to do it. I just learned. And I started dating this girl, and she goes, man, you got to really work on your singing. I was
Okay.
dating this chick, but it was enough to, attract a woman into my life. So I said, I'm not singing that bad. So over the years, I went on, and I sung, and I practiced, and I did my gigs, and went on to a point where Wilson Pickett, walking after heard me sing, said, man, you sound like Joe Cocker. When me and Joe Cocker do a concert together, they got to readjust the microphones. And after I recorded with Wilson Pickett heard me play the harmonica because my friend played on this record.
Yeah.
My friend produced the record, John
Right.
Tiven. And he goes, come down and you sang backup vocals. Wilson Pickett's in town
Yeah.
recording these tracks. So I went down there.
This was in Manhattan.
This is in Manhattan,
Okay.
Studio 900 in about 1998.
Okay.
So I went down there and I sang backup vocals. And I walked through
Wow.
the door. It's just me, John Tiven, Joe Johnson, the engineer and owner of Studio 900 Broadway, Manhattan, and Wilson Pickett, just three people.
Wow.
And I went in there and I said, oh, Mr. Pickett, nice to meet you. It's such an honor to sing on
Right.
background vocals on your
Sure.
stuff. So I did and sat down on the couch, and 2 minutes later, Wilson Pickett turns around and said, now, John told me you played a harmonica. You got one? And I said, yeah, I got one in my pocket. He goes, oh, you ought not keep it in your pocket. You're going to get lint in it. So I said, yeah, hopefully it won't be in now. And I took it out and I said, did a little quick one.
Yeah.
And Wilson Pickett said, man, that's how the harmonica is supposed to sound. What songs are you going to be on? And I said, I'm not slated to play harmonica on any of your songs. He goes, no, go home and get your stuff. We're going to have to work something out. This is Wilson Pickett. So I went home, got my stuff, came back, and I played it on Taxi Love, and I played it on this other song, Stomp.
Okay.
And when I was done playing, Wilson Pickett instructed me the sounds he wanted me to do, sound like a truck, do this, that. And
Right.
I did these. And I come out, and John Tiven said, I was already singing at this point. This is all answering your question, how did I end up starting singing
Right,
in a
yeah.
roundabout way? So I went from not singing, just not knowing how to sing, to working with Wilson Pickett to the
Yeah.
point where the record came out. 3 months later, they wanted me to play on a Letterman show in Irving Plaza
Oh, wow.
with the Wilson Pickett Band. So I said, go down to SIR Studios in Wilson. We'll be down there rehearsing. So I went down there. And so the drummer said, I knew the drummer. He was Tyrone, the Crusher Green. He was Wilson Pickett's road drummer for 40 years. He
Oh,
used to
wow.
play with me for a lot of shows. Anyway, the Crusher called me one day and said, call me when you need a drummer that can get the job done. But anyway, the Crusher was leaving with the band. He goes, we're going to have lunch. Wilson's out. He'll be back in a minute. So Wilson Pickett, I'm sitting on the couch in SIR Studios. Wilson Pickett walks through the door. I stood up to extend my hand to shake his. He extended it out, and he says to me, there's my singing buddy. And, well, I said to myself, well, shit, if somebody doesn't like the way I sing for the rest of my life, Wilson Pickett, that's my badge of honor, man. I'll wear that like a medal of honor.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how I got started singing and where it developed into.
Yeah.
So I just was determined. How I got started writing songs was after a bunch of years on the New York City blues song scene through working with this John Tiven that produced Wilson Pickett. He said, you got to write your own songs, man. What are you
Right.
doing? You can play the same shit everybody played for the last 50 years and they're still playing now. The same shit. You're going to come up with your own thing.
Right.
So I started developing it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't initially work with John Tiven.
Okay.
I ended up working with Ted Papa Chubby, who
Okay.
used to come to my live shows and dig my show because I'm a wild man at this time. I don't know what's going to happen now. But
Yeah.
other than I'm still a wild man, which is matured substantially. Anyway,
So tell us about, as we
This
were
is my-
driving up here, please, for you. You were talking about the blues life. So, tell us some of the stuff that you've been through. It's
well,
made you
it's not
stronger.
about, it's just about being resilient, and it's about
Yeah.
life experience, without getting into a sob story, because I'm a very positive person. I
Yeah,
find
I could tell.
a gift and positive. There's this wonderful saying, it sucks, but it's the truth. Count it all joy. And it says it in the Bible. And, man, count it all joy, whatever the hell you're going through. Somebody got it worse.
Okay.
And with that in mind, just came up on the anniversary this last month, August. I had lost both my brothers at the same time in Katona.
Oh, wow.
August 1979, I lost my little brother, 16 and 17 years old, to a drunk driver. I've been drinking in a bar.
Oh, wow.
And I've been drinking in 12 hours in the bar. This wonderful fellow named James Perry. Anyway, God bless you, bro. Long story short is that my brothers got wiped out by a drunk driver, and that kind of much gave me this blues feeling that when I was 20, 21, that just gave me this only way I could get out. This was not getting drinking or tripping my brains out on whatever the hell I wanted to trip my brains out on. Was just get into God and get into this instrument and just dig in. So I got the blues and I work it out like that.
Yeah.
And then just from life experience, you grew up in Westchester County. It was like, well, I grew up in Westchester. How much blues can a white kid have? Well, I grew up around some really, in the Golden Bridge area. It was very ethnic community amongst blacks and Jewish people. And I grew up with alcoholic family, that broken family. And it's a totally a different story than my siblings. I have 5 kids in my family prior to the death of my brothers. Grew up in a crazy environment. Moved 8 times from the age of 10 to the age of 19.
Okay.
Or 20.
Wow.
And then, grew up around, be frank, man, it's a deadly thing. Alcoholism, you know. When I talk about smoking weed, it's wonderful. Yeah. But alcoholism will kill and wreck a lot of people. I never knew marijuana to wreck anybody's life, but I know a lot of people, and I know a couple right now. Yeah. Alcohol's wrecking their life and their perspective. But anyway, without getting into a lecture, I've never been to an AA meeting. My father was in AA for 30 years, and he had to get straight because my mother left him. And that's I have to be part of this interview. It's just an appendage to the story. But with that in mind, I got the blues, and just life experience. I recently overcame this thing they said is incurable, rheumatoid arthritis, but through health and fitness and praying and healing my gut microbiome. Anybody who wants to listen out about healing your gut microbiome,
let's hear it.
Get in touch with me. I could give you a rap more than I need for my $15,000 to finish my record. Please, anybody who got an idea to finish my record, don't call me up talking about walking in this studio and doing this and working with so-and-so, unless you're Rick Rubin or Jimmy Iovine, one of them cats. You please call me. I'm a modern cat. I'm not playing the same old blues. Yeah. So with that in mind, that's why I'm a songwriter and a singer. Because I was told I better start writing songs, and I saw I did with diligence. And I still write them, but they don't come. A song could come, and I could work on it a year. Yeah. Literally. Yeah. And then I said, oh, this is how that song goes. So still working on that. Still working on singing better. Okay. Still practice harmonica all the time.
Well, hey, I mean, that's it. It's
my greatest joy is, one of my greatest joys in my life is I can stop 8 out of 10 babies from crying and wailing with the simple. Either they stop immediately and the parents can't stop them in a restaurant, on the street, anywhere. And as soon as you hit 1, 2 notes, instantaneously mesmerized, and a diversion has been created from the hysteria, or 8 out of 10. Or it amps up to the 10th power. That's when I step off. But I've had wonderful dinners purchased for me, and thanks from parents around the world. I've done it internationally. Okay. So I used to think it was 9 out of 10, but it's 8 out of 10.
That's not bad, hey.
8 out of 10.
3 out of 10, you're...
It's like the Yankees. Yeah. Hey, 8 out of 10 ain't bad.
Yeah. Well, how can people find out more about you? You've got a website. You mentioned social media.
I'm more or less... I'm not a big Instagram poster. Yeah. But if you want to reach me through Instagram, a direct message, it's... All right. Mason Casey Music
Okay, Mason Casey Music.
at Instagram, and I'm also Facebook. I'm an avid Facebook user, and I'm not a big poster, but
Yeah.
I communicate to people internationally
Okay.
through Facebook Messenger. Like I talk about Brazil. I went down there. I'm still in contact with some friends. I've
Yeah,
been blessed at Brazil. Great musicians, great harmonica players. So you can contact me,
great.
Mason Casey Music on Facebook or Mason Casey Music on Instagram.
Excellent.
Or if you wish to email me, it's Mason Casey Music at Yahoo.
Okay, all right.
And thereby.
Well, maybe you could take us out with a tune. What do you think?
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mason Casey. All right, that's a wrap.
Thank you very much.
All
It was a
right.
great interview, and the rain held out.
We sure
That's your
did.
prediction. Thanks for the water. Thanks for a great
man.
conversation.